This week's Four Questions Journalist Spotlight is brought to you by Leff's Atlanta Media, Atlanta's best journalist database. Subscribe at leffsatlantamedia.com.
Welcome to the next edition of our Four Questions Journalist Spotlight. We are talking today with Gabriel Stovall with a new publication, the Newton County Journal. And the universe is telling us that we are going to do a great episode today because we just reset after a little bit of technical issue. I shouldn't even jinx myself. Gabe, we're gonna make this work. If I have to. Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. It's happening. It's happening now. All right. So let's start with, tell me a little bit about your background, and then tell me kind of what brought you to creating the Newton County Journal.
Absolutely, man. Originally, I am from the Omaha, Nebraska area, and I've been a Georgia resident for 18 years, mostly in Metro Atlanta, but also some time in Augusta. So while I've been in Georgia, I've worked full time for the Henry Daily Herald, Clayton News Daily, sports editor for the Covington News. Came back after about 4 years doing that. And a stint working with the Louisville Courier Journal and the Augusta Chronicle. I came back and spent about a year at the Covington News as publisher, editor-in-chief and publisher. And then after that, I came back to my sports roots. I worked part-time with the Augusta Press, which is a 3-year-old publication in Augusta, as a sports editor. But man, this Newton County Journal project is born out of a passion create a different kind of media voice in the Covington, Newton County area, man. You know, I came to love journalism when I was a senior in high school. I was looking for, I had senioritis. I was looking for an easy A class to get me out. And they told me to go take Mrs. Stickles' journalism class. And in Mrs. Stickles' journalism class, didn't even know what journalism was. And I'm writing for the school paper. And I just fell in love with it. And I went to the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, majored in journalism. That was back when Nebraska football was still good. So I actually got the chance to cover them a bit and just fell in love with it, man. So you fast forward now. And like I said, the Newton County Journal is a publication that is come to, I say, give a fresher media voice to this growing and just burgeoning Newton County area. We want to go back to telling not just the press release style stories that just give you the surface level stuff, but we want to dig beneath the surface. We want to answer those questions that we think readers are still asking. We want to answer those questions: who, what, when, where, especially the how and the why. Readers are asking, how does this affect my life? How does this work? Why does this matter to me? And I think that even just from a local journalism standpoint, there is still a big room, a space for us to be able to do that with the Newton County Journal. Take people beyond just the surface and really show them why the news that's happening around them matters. But not only that, man, I want to use the NCJ as an incubator, so to speak, to help develop aspiring news journalism content creator talent, like people who want to get into this industry. Like I said, I fell in love with it through the school newspaper. They don't really do school newspapers like that anymore. So I want to use this medium as a way to help people who say, you know what, I think I want a career in journalism. I want to help them kind of get some real world, real time industry experience that undergirds their classroom instruction. And I want to do it because I love at this stage in my life, man. You know, back in the day, I used to fall in love with the fact that my byline was in the paper. Now, man, I fall in love with the fact with knowing that other people's bylines who I'm tutoring and who I'm training are now in the paper and they're getting their shine. And I just love the fact people keep saying journalism is dead. It's not dead. It's changing. And we got to change with it, man. And so this gives me the opportunity to help make that happen, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, technology makes it a lot easier to create new news outlets. When you don't have to worry about buying ink or staffing an office necessarily, or having big fancy trucks, all those expenses that drive up your costs.
Absolutely.
So the Covington News is, so the differentiator between the two is Covington News is more, would you say they're more the city of Covington and you're a little wider the whole county? Because I guess they kind of sort of cover Newton County issues, but seems like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like, like I said, there's a couple other publications in this area, and definitely, they do good work. But we do kind of cover the same areas. But again, just putting a different spin on the way that we cover things. I think a lot of times, kind of to your point that you made earlier, when you have kind of the traditional brick and mortar office and things like that, and you're trying to do print and you're trying to, budget the costs and the ink and the paper and the printing and all that stuff. You kind of strap yourself thin to where even if you have a staff of folks, your staff is so encumbered with some of these other things that they don't really have the time to get their feet on the ground and do some real in-depth journalism. So a lot of times, some of these local publications, not even just here in Newton County, but in other places, they present you some news, but it's kind of more press release style. It's kind of really surface. And we want to dig deep into some enterprise stuff. We want to help people understand not just what's happening around them, but why it's happening, why it matters. And we want to employ, like I said, some of the best and the brightest in Georgia to be a part of what we're doing and to create kind of that voice that's fresh and speaks to what the issues are, and do it in a way that gives them some opportunities to grow in this industry as well, man. So, we're going to cast a little bit of a wider net, but we're also going to take a deeper dive into the things that are happening. I mean, you look around Covington, Newton County, it's exploding with growth. And it's one thing to just say that, but it's another thing to talk about why it's happening and what it means. And so we're really going to dig deep and butter our bread on the why, the how, and the depth of our reporting.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I think you and I were talking about a Georgia entertainment event that we did out in Covington a couple of weeks ago, and
Yeah.
that's obviously you got Three Ring Studios out there, which is a big facility for the film industry. So you got a lot of that going on. Covington's been home to a lot of other film productions for years and years. So I'm sure that's going to be a fun aspect of the area to cover.
Absolutely.
So actual launch date you're thinking is what, sometime around 4th of July-ish, something around there?
So we want to try. So our website is newtoncountyjournal.com. Like I said, all digital right now. And we want to launch it around the first week of July, maybe right after the 4th of July. I'm kind of in beta mode right now. Like I told you before, we had some breaking news locally yesterday, and I was just like, you know what? I know my site isn't fully where it needs to be. Facebook is still tripping with allowing me to post. But I was like, I'd be less of a journalist if I didn't cover this. And so I had to cobble it together. But we are looking and hopefully going to be able to iron out all the wrinkles and really, really launch this thing officially during the first week of July, hopefully right after the 4th of July. And we're already populating the page with some content that we've done kind of in other spaces. And I was working with a blog site for a while, and that just was not cooperating with me. And so I just, you know what, I got somebody working on the website. We'll just wait to get it launched and just deluge people with all the content that we're putting together, man. So hoping to be by this time next week, we're hoping to be all systems go, fully launched and ready to rock and roll.
All right, and there's a podcast that goes along with this too, right? Tell us about that.
Town Square Podcast, man. So I got this idea actually while I was my first stint at Covington, the Covington News, and one of the highlights, if you've ever been to Covington, you know that one of the highlights of the area is the square, the downtown square, and I just think about how we. You think about the discourse in our nation right now when we talk about political things and social things, and it's so crazy. It's so messy. It's either all extreme left or all extreme right. We've lost the ability to see nuance. We've lost the ability to kind of meet in the messy middle and learn from each other. And so I conceptualized the Town Square podcast concept with the thought in mind of, hey, we're going to meet in this middle ground space, this general meeting ground area, and we're going to talk about all the stuff, but we're going to talk about it constructively. We're going to talk about it with a mind toward finding solutions and not just shouting our opinions at each other, and just give the area a space to where we can digest the news that's happening around us in a more constructive manner that helps us to not make enemies, man. Maybe we can make more friends with each other and find out that we probably have more in common with each other than we realize, which helps to create and foster a more healthy community.
That's great. And that's what community journalism is all about, right?
It is.
Kind of bringing great, important information, or bringing the community together, and providing resources and services that the community wants and needs. Are there some, I know you mentioned that there's a lot going on out there. What are some of the big stories that you want to be looking at and covering kind of right off the bat?
Right off the bat, man, we want to be covering our county and local government. We really want to make sure there's so much that's happening here. Like I said, you're talking about businesses that are coming, industry that's booming in Newton County, and the county and city government is right in the middle of that, and the decisions they make and the policies and the things that they do and things that they don't do have a very direct effect and impact on all the things that happen in Newton County. So, like, for instance, we just I was coming back from Athens yesterday and got a thing pop up on my phone where the county chairman, the Board of Commissioner chairman, and an incoming district representative are being indicted for money laundering. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, pull over. We got to write about this. But again, it's easy to talk about what happened. Let's talk about, okay, what happens if they actually get found guilty? How does that impact who's coming into District 3? Can the county chairperson be ousted just by an indictment, or does he have to be found guilty? Like, these are the questions that people are asking. We want to be able to answer that. Sports as well, robust sports community, education, business, but that's where it starts for me a lot of times, is that county local government piece.
Well, and can a county official continue to serve if they're convicted of a felony, right?
I mean, hey, that somebody told me that something like that's happening in Washington, D.C.
It can happen, right? Right. You got to ask these kinds of questions.
Yes, and a lot of times when you if your journalism kind of just stays surface, you've got a lot of people asking these questions, but they're not getting good answers, so they kind of create their answers and get it from nefarious spaces. And we want to be a responsible outlet of good journalism. I always tell people I don't want to influence how you think as much as I want to inform what you think about. And so we want to stand in the middle, give you every side of an argument, every side of a situation of a matter we can, and then step back and make your own choices based on information we give.
And as we're talking, I'm thinking I need to put a little graphic in here too that kind of shows people, where is Newton County? How do we get there? How do we get there? Right? Where's that? Where's Newton County? Where is that? I told you, get on I-20, go east, and there you are.
Yeah, most people know Lithonia, most people know Conyers, and I say if you can find Lithonia and Conyers on I-20, just keep on driving. You'll hit Covington in about 20 minutes. So.
Yeah. And if traffic's good, it's about 55 minutes from Metro Atlanta.
Absolutely. If traffic, that's a big if, though.
If traffic's not good, it's 2 hours. But it's
pretty much. Sometimes
the traffic's not good, getting from Decatur to Lenox is 2 hours. So
man, I'm telling you.
Traffic in Atlanta. All right. So let's do the lightning round here. So sure. These are kind of short, fun answers, and folks learn a little about Gabriel. What's something? And this is the hardest question. The first one is the hardest, right? Then it gets easier. All right. So what's something cool or fun about you that folks might not know?
Well, I'll give you two quick things. Number one, I'm a pastor, which a lot of people don't put pastors and journalists together, and so I actually think that's pretty cool that I'm able to balance both of those. Is awesome. But number two, I have a 13-year-old son who is an internationally renowned Taekwondo martial artist, and so he at one point in time was number one in the nation in his age group, and he's just an awesome kid. So I think those are two cool things.
That's
there.
very good. All right, so you got a choice here: either the last book you've read or the last podcast you listened to. And if you're a pastor, I can guess the last book you've read probably starts with a B and has 5 letters in it, right?
Believe it or not, that is not the case. The last book. So somebody's going to probably think, oh, you're just saying this based on the space you're in today. No, seriously, the last book I read, I kind of tandem read. So I actually finished 2 books in 1 week. One was called Think Like a Freak, and the other was called Saving Community Journalism. So those are the last 2 books that I've read. Of course, last podcast was the Town Square podcast.
All right. I always tell folks it can't be your own podcast, right?
It can't be my own.
Can't be your own. Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right. What's your favorite local restaurant?
Ooh, there's a lot of them, but I gotta say the Townhouse Cafe in Covington. That is my favorite. Shout out to Mr. Ham's Cafe is what the locals call it, but Townhouse Cafe in Covington is my favorite.
All right, we'll tag him and drop his link in here too. All right, favorite guilty pleasure.
The Golden Girls sitcom,
Oh, okay, that's a good one. That's good.
Yeah, that is my favorite television show, and people are like, really? Okay. Yeah, seriously. I can binge watch the Golden Girls. It's like comfort TV for me. So that's one of my favorite guilty pleasures right there.
All right. What's a good local getaway? Somewhere you want to go when you want to relax, get away from it all a little bit, get away from the devices and all that.
The beach, man. We like 2-3 hours away from all kinds of awesome beaches. And I love it. Can't swim. I'll wade. I'll stand in the neck deep water, but the beach is my spot, man.
All right. Yeah. Which beach is your go-to?
So for proximity, our go-to is probably kind of South Beach, Tybee Island, all those beaches in the Tybee Island area around Savannah. But my all-time favorite beach is Clearwater Beach outside of Tampa, Florida. That's just an amazing place. And they got a restaurant right next to it. It's got some of the best crab fries I've ever had in my life. So
yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Favorite non-work hobby?
Favorite non-work hobby? Video games. I'm a gamer. PS5. College football game is coming out in 3 weeks. Can't wait.
So football. Which game are you playing? College.
I'm going to be playing on the PlayStation 5. College football, NCAA football 25. Back in the day, they used to have those games come out with Madden, and when the whole NIL thing erupted, and players were like, "Yeah, I don't want my image on these games," and they had to stop. So now with NIL coming to pass, players can pay for their image and likeness. EA Sports said we're bringing the college football game back, so it'll be the first one in 10 years. I've already pre-ordered it. I've called off to work. Me and my son are going to veg out July 16th when it drops. We're going to take the next 3 days and just make our eyes bleed playing that game, man. So video games, I love them.
So how long have you been a pastor?
Man, listen, I've been a pastor. So I've been in ministry as long as I've been in journalism almost. Like I started preaching when I was 17, which was also the same age that I discovered Mrs. Tickle's journalism class. And so it's been, 25 years, 26, 27 years, some form of capacity. I've been doing it for that long, man.
Okay. And which church do you pastor at?
So right now I pastor Pastor James Paschal Baptist Church in Covington, Georgia. I also give pastoral oversight to a church in Augusta called Macedonia Family Church, but we're actually kind of raising up somebody to take that lead soon. James Paschal in Covington and Macedonia Family Church in Augusta.
Excellent. We have been talking with Gabriel Stovall, who is the new publisher, editor, founding muse guide of the soon to be Newton County Journal, which probably see in the next couple of days. NewtonCountyJournal.com on your internet, and look for it on. Let's see, what's your Facebook? Is it just Newton County Journal? Find it on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is Newton County Journal, and then we're on. Keep on to call it Twitter, X, Twitter, whatever. We're on there at NCJ News Online. I think is what it is. Yeah, NCJ News Online.
Excellent. Gabriel, thank you. And good luck, and everybody go check it out. Give them a couple of days to work out the kinks, but maybe after 4th of July, go check it out and see what it looks like. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Look for us again in 2 weeks for the next edition of our 4 Questions Journalist Spotlight. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button now and do that. And of course, if you're ever looking for our local media database, Leff's Atlanta Media, go to leffsatlantamedia.com and you can subscribe to that today. All right. Thanks, Gabriel.
Thank you for having me, Mitch.